Alright, so we're going to get started. My name is Josh Bryan. I am the camp director at Whitsett this summer.
And I'm Trevor Fulham, and I'll be the program director at Whitsett this summer. And we're going to go through the Spring Leaders Guide for 2013. Starting on page 4 is our little Dear Scoutmaster letter. Just kind of runs through welcoming you to camp, and then down at the bottom it has an email address, camping@bsa-la.org. And if you have any registration questions, go ahead and direct those to camping@bsa-la.org. That's our registrar. You've probably been working with her, or someone from your unit's been working with her already. But she handles the registration. Josh and I do not, so we kind of don't have a good handle on what's going on there. But we can help you if you do have trouble. Any program questions, you can go ahead and refer to me, and my contact information is in the very back of that guide, second to last page. And then Josh, the camp director, if you can't get a hold of me, or you have other questions about camp, or have anything that you don't feel like I took care of for you. So the 5th page has a Camp Whitsett site map, and has all of our campsites and all of our program areas written down on there. And that's kind of not 100% to scale, but gives you an idea. Moving on to page 6 is the Camp Whitsett daily schedule, Sunday through Saturday. Unless you're attending on our week 2, you will be arriving Monday and you'll have a different daily schedule sent over to you. And if you have any questions about what week you're in, go ahead and see Josh or I after the meeting, and we can talk about what week you're in and when you're supposed to show up to camp. For the most part, you're going to show up Sunday, starting at 1 o'clock. That's when our gates open up. You can pull up a little bit before that, but there will be kind of not a lot of room to park and get your car off the road. So plan on arriving about 1 p.m. Sunday, and we'll go ahead and start checking you in. You'll be driven into camp. You'll meet your troop guide, and your troop guide will talk to you about camp. This person will guide you around camp for your check-in and then visit you regularly throughout the week. And after you meet your troop guide, you'll go to your campsite. You'll change into your swim trunks and pack all of your stuff into your tents very briefly and get ready for your swim test round robin. So you'll run through several things during this round robin, one of which is the swim test, which is why you'll put your swim trunks on. The next thing you'll do, or one of the things you will do, is meet our camp director in the training place to talk about how many boys you brought and whether you kind of had an extra show up or one disappear. And then you'll move on to the medical recheck. Whoever is on call for our camp that week will go ahead and look through all of your med forms real briefly and just see if there's anything that we need to know about, talk to a scout about, or talk to the leader about for the week. And then you will meet the area directors of the individual areas to have a brief. Here's what Scoutcraft's about, this is what our program's like, and then if anything happens to change that week, say we've offered an extra session of something, then we'll let you know at that point that we found out that during week 1 we had so many people who wanted to do this merit badge, we've opened another session for you and we'd like you to know about it. So if anything like that changes, or if there's any individual program stuff, that will be talked about. You'll also have the opportunity to visit our Big Top and talk to our commissary director there about your service patrol stuff, whether you're going to come in on what day to set up the dining hall for dinner or breakfast or lunch, and when you're going to clean up and sweep up after the meals. After that, we'll have our opening campfire, and I think we all know what that's about. And then throughout the week, the schedule is down there. SPL meetings are 1:10, starting Monday.
I did this before, so no, I don't know what we're all talking about.
For the campfire?
Yeah.
Okay. We will have a campfire where our troop guide will pull you and your troop over to the campfire circle, and we'll have a kind of a skit-filled campfire. And we'll talk about camp and have some activities. Does that answer that?
That works.
Okay. So the main things to know about are your SPL meetings. Your SPL is going to be the guy who signs you up for those extra activities, so pick someone who's reliable and make sure that they get up to those on time. That will be run by our Pathfinder director or our activity director, and they will work with your unit to make sure they're signed up for any extracurricular activities like our lunch bike rides our afternoon bike rides, and anything else that an SPL needs to know about that you guys might be interested in. On Wednesday at the Big Top, this is important for you guys who are interested in merit badge information. 1:15, we're going to have kind of a checkup moment where we go, all right, this is where you guys stand in their classes. Johnny has not shown up to a single class, or Johnny showed up to this class and you thought he showed up to another class. This is where we get that all worked out. Hopefully everything works out smoothly, but that's the point to kind of gut check and figure out, all right, do we need to work on something extra? Do we need to move some stuff around? Is it unrealistic for someone to get this merit badge? Just, our goal is to make camp fun for these guys. Wednesday night, well, I'll touch on Wednesday night in a bit. Everything else in here we'll cover briefly except for Saturday morning. Cleaning up Saturday, pretty straightforward. Our goal is to have you guys ready and on the road by about 11 o'clock. We'll serve breakfast at 7:30. Our troop guides will be able to come by to your campsites and check you out at any point that day. And if you want them to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, we'll get them up at 4:30 in the morning. Some of you guys have some long drives and commitments to make, so we will be happy to help you there. Also, Saturday morning will be that point where all of your corrections for merit badge information will be gone over. So Friday night at the campfire, at the very end, we'll hand you a nice thick packet of all the merit badges everyone's earned, and you'll go through and check and make sure that if Johnny has that environmental science essay in his backpack, that you get that into us Saturday morning. We'll look it over and then make the adjustments throughout the week. And then Monday or Tuesday of the next week, we'll mail out the completed packets with the corrections. Go ahead.
Now, this packet is in lieu of the blue cards that you were talking about in here earlier?
That's correct.
Okay.
And we'll cover, as we go through here, some more blue card and blue sheet related merit badge stuff. What to bring, the troop gear list. Most of the stuff is pretty straightforward. Bears are mildly an issue at Whitsett. They do tend to come into camp the further the season comes along. They don't tend to bother anybody except to root for their coolers. Now, we don't generally have any issues with bears getting into camp, into cars in camp. So if you have something that's food related, you can go ahead and put that in your car or bear bag it. But don't leave food out in the campsite. That's why you'll see on here bear bag or bear canister.
You're saying leave food in the cars?
Yes. Yes.
They won't go in?
They will not go in the cars.
Okay.
These aren't Yellowstone bears.
Okay.
They're lazy
Uh-huh.
because there are dumpsters.
Yeah, there are lots of non-bear
Okay,
food.
easier targets.
Yeah.
Something alive
The
in
force-
the
That
car.
public campground with the truck coming out of it
Yeah.
is where they're headed.
Yeah.
So just be mindful of that. Know what smellables are, anything, toothpaste, shampoo. Generally speaking, we don't have huge issues with it, but do take precautions so that we don't have issues in the future. Mess kit is on this list, I believe, and will be on it further along. Wednesday night, we will have a fellowship troop dinner where you'll cook food in your campsite, and so do please have everyone bring a mess kit for that. Unit insurance, in here it says that all troops are always required to bring their unit insurance. If you are a Western Los Angeles County Council troop, that is not the case. If you are from any other council, we do require that you bring that proof. The only reason we don't require it for any of our units is because we already provide it to them. So we know they have it. Some councils do not pre-provide that as a courtesy to their units. Departure and arrival on page 10 is kind of spelled out for you. Talks about,
Is that mess kit just for that one night then?
that is correct.
Okay.
I don't think we used them last year, but if we do mess kits, what's the plan to get them clean?
You're provided with a wash basin in your campsite.
Okay.
So if there is an issue outside of that, let us know when you're at camp. But
Cold
you,
water rinse?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Just a quick thing about your Sunday arrival schedule. The way we operate it, we try to keep as few cars in our camp at all times, even that Sunday. So we'll only allow one car to move gear and anybody who needs assistance for that matter, but mostly just to move gear into the campsites. If you do come in a bus, we'll provide a flatbed truck to move your gear into your campsite. But at this point, we're pretty much parking our cars, and for the rest of the week, we'll be walking. And then cars will not be allowed back into our campsites until Friday night or Saturday morning, depending on your plans to leave. We'll cover all of your departure stuff on Friday morning at the leaders meeting. You'll see it in here. We'll announce it a bunch of times at camp. And that's when we'll talk about exactly how to make the plan to get out of camp. So we don't need to really go over that in any detail here. If you do have some special situations, just let us know and we'll work with you on it. Page 11, directions to camp. If anyone has any issues, feel free to let us know afterwards. Form requirements, the annual BSA health and medical record. We do require that just like any other BSA event. And we have links to the forms on our website. We will also provide a packet. We'll provide two packets, a packet for all youth participants and a packet for all adult participants. And that'll have everything that a youth needs to go to camp and everything that an adult will need to go to camp. We'll put that out and email it out to you next week. That'll have your permission to shoot, your health record. Some scouts will already have their health record taken care of. That's fine as long as they're within the BSA guidelines. It has to be within a year of going to camp. And then if they're filling it out moving forward, they need to start using a new form that came out this last, I think, December or January for the new year. And if anyone has any questions about that, feel free to call us.
And that's for adult leaders as well, right?
Adult leaders as well. All youth and adults are required to fill out A, B, and C. Page 14 has a Camp Whitsett attendance roster. The ethnicity, we have to ask just as a favor to the Forest Service. They request that information to us, so we ask it. If you guys wish to decline to state any of that, feel free to do that.
This is a new form, isn't it?
This is a new form, yes.
Do we know why the Forest Service requests it?
They actually have been asking us all this time.
They actually, every year, they put a report out that is something you can look, and in it kind of breaks down who uses their campgrounds, and they love to know ethnicity so they can kind of track who comes to camps. And
We're asking less than we possibly could for them. They also would like to know more information as well, like whether people are underprivileged and that kind of information. So we have asked this information to kind of get that out there as well. Feel free to fill it out or not. This also has information about when they're arriving, whether they're arriving on Sunday and leaving on Friday or not. If anyone has any questions about this, feel free to call Josh or I. Youth protection training is required for adults, not for youth, but it is required for adults. And then
And are these forms going to be online, or are you going to send us another package, or do we just use these?
we'll send you a fillable version of this, and this will be online as well.
we just ask that you have it filled out right before you come to camp,
When you
because we'll
show
take
up
it
on
on
Sunday.
we'll take it on check-in when you meet at the trading post to get all paperwork. We'll take it, and if you have it filled out beforehand, you're not having to sit there and write all 50 people in at the last minute. So.
And the reason we ask the BSA ID is just to help other councils out and help you guys out when we submit our roster. And Joe actually goes by Joseph in the council records. It helps them kind of look up someone to put in their training records. That happens from time to time. Someone will put a shorthand down in one form or the other. Page 15, the Adult Leader Resource Form. This is just if you have a trade or specific skill set that you feel like camp can benefit from and you're willing to help us out, go ahead and fill this out and bring it to camp with you. And in fact, if there's something that you think that you really have that we're interested in, feel free to give us a call in advance and say, hey, I'm an electrician and I have some equipment that I'd like to bring up. Is there anything that you would like us to work on? So that's just to give you guys an opportunity to help out camp and help us out. Page 17, now we're moving on to some of our special programs. Just individual items that we cover. The SPL training program. If you are coming week 1, your SPL can come week 2. And then that way they can kind of round out if they came out for week 1 as an SPL and they were kind of busy hustling the troop scouts around and making sure they got to classes, then they can come out week 2 for a reduced rate and kind of get those couple of merit badges they may have missed out on by mentoring. That information is pretty straightforward. You can register for that online. Just go to campwhitsett.org/SPL. Page 18, the individual award program. A Beaver and Flying W award are listed out here. These are the requirements. And then these
Quick
are
question?
Yes.
So is this also something that if a boy wants to come before his troop and get special training, this is for that, or is it just
Yes.
sort of a makeup?
Sorry, yes, it is. The idea is that they come before camp to meet kind of campers. It's spelled out in here, but I kind of wanted to cover the exception. It is meant for scouts to come into camp as an SPL, learn where everything goes on in camp, meet some of the staff, and that way when the other scouts show up, they have an idea of how camp works and have the opportunity and the time to mentor.
So, and this is a 1-week program?
This is a 1-week program, yes. The individual award program, we have a Beaver and a Flying W award. Beaver program is aimed at first-year scouts, and the Flying W is its second year at summer camp. This is something, these are the requirements, and then it is up to you as scout leaders to know whether they have accomplished them. Yes,
Who do we ask about doing the service or conservation projects?
that'll be our activities director.
So we speak to them once we get up there
That's
Yeah.
correct.
on the first day Sunday.
Or anytime throughout the week.
If
and we'll
there's
point
any
it out.
point where you have a question or need to schedule something, the activities director will be happy to help you.
So when it says past 5 rank advancements, do you mean check off 5
Individual
things?
requirements. Individual
Oh,
requirements.
okay. They're not going
Not all ranks.
from scout to first class. Okay, understood.
Moving right along.
Yeah, they're expected to earn Eagle in a week.
That'll work.
Sometimes we write those things down. It isn't very clear in there, and that's also one of my notes to be rewritten. The Uncle Steve Patrol Program, this is for kind of building patrol spirit. If there's a patrol that would like to do it, this is the form to work on. And then at the end of the week, this is part of the awards that you would order as a unit. And we'll send out an awards packet later on, but before we send out merit badge information, we'll send out the awards packet so you guys know what the individual awards and rockers are. Each scout attending camp gets a Camp Whitsett patch. Yes.
Who is Uncle Steve?
Josh, do you know who Uncle Steve is?
Yes. Uncle Steve is known as an old commissioner up at camp. I'll stand in front of the camera here. Uncle Steve is a commissioner that used to be at camp. His name was Steve Balding. He passed away back in 99. He passed away in 99. His big thing in scouting was the patrol method. He was big on the scouts run the program, they go together, they camp together, they cook together, they do all their activities together. So that's why we have this patrol-based award. They come to camp and they can work on this as a patrol. It's meant for a patrol, not an individual award. We understand that sometimes you come to camp and you kind of have a couple people from this patrol and a couple people from that patrol. Just join them as one patrol, have them think of a name and everything, and they can go together and work together on it. So,
Sorry, thank you.
yes.
So say the whole 10 boys show up for camp and only 5 boys want to form the patrol and earn this. Can they do that? So the whole patrol that comes to camp does not have to do this.
Yeah, it's just it's a group. Basically, it's a group thing. So it's patrol. So if the 5 want to do it together as a patrol, and they're
Is there a
whatever.
minimum number of boys for your patrol?
We state that it should consist of 4 to 8 scouts.
4 to 8
but
scouts. Okay.
This is, once again, something that's going to be monitored by you, the leaders. So if there is an exception that you guys feel is needed, then absolutely, by all means. Just keep in mind the spirit of the patrol method and how to continue with that.
Thank you.
Page 20, the Tough Enough Challenge. This year, has everyone seen Are You Tougher Than a Boy Scout? That was shot at Camp Whitsett, so we have a unique opportunity to put them in pretty much the exact same scenarios they were in. with some slight modifications for safety. That we're going to set up a little challenge this year. We're going to have a leaderboard that'll consist throughout the weeks. So week 1 has a pretty good opportunity to get on the leaderboard, but whether they stay on the leaderboard by week 8, we'll see, or week 7, sorry. This will be an individual challenge where scouts will come up and compete against the scouts who have come before them in some time or score requirements. More information will come out when you come up to camp about that. Yes?
We were at camp last year when they were filming, and that restricted quite a bit of our activities. Are they going to be there this year?
They will not. They will not be there. The troop fellowship experience, we talked about this briefly earlier. Wednesday night will be an opportunity for all of your units to have a troop bonding experience where we'll set you up with meals and charcoal to cook in your campsites. And that way you can kind of get that really scout dinner time experience. There's nothing quite like cooking and eating together. And then you'll have the opportunity that night, we won't have program area open, so you'll have the opportunity to have a campfire in your campsite where we encourage you to bring in other troops, mold up with other units and kind of get together a fun local campfire. Maybe the next campsite over, you go together and you put together a nice little campfire and do some troop fellowship and team building. Page 21, Sierra Expeditions. Sierra Expeditions is, think of it as a separate camp. Camp Whitsett is the traditional merit badge camp. Sierra Expeditions is a whole different program, and it offers the high adventure side of things. We're not talking about merit badges, we're not talking about coke, we're talking about going out backpacking for 5 to 12 days, or it says 9 in here, but you can go out on a trek. You'll learn with some of our guides who've been out in the backcountry multiple times how to use stoves, if your unit doesn't know how to use stoves. Leave no trace principles, as well as some leadership and backcountry travel, just general know-how. We have equipment that's available for your unit if you guys are shy on certain equipment. Or if you do have equipment that you don't know how to use, please bring it and we will help you learn how to use it. So the trek program allows you to do backpacking. The cycling program is actually really neat because you load up all your stuff in our box trailer and it follows you to your next place. You don't have to carry around all of your stuff on your back. You just get to focus on cycling. And we provide all of the food for those programs. However, you do provide the cooking. CPT is a little different. That's a provisional program meant for older scouts who have a unit attending camp already. Obviously, if someone isn't attending camp, they can come. But if you have those 2 or 3 guys, 16 to 17, basically over 14, but you know who they are. They kind of cause a little bit of trouble. They like to cause some mischief. They're already been SPL for 2 years already. It's time for them to move on and do something else. But you really want to have them come to camp and stay involved, and so that the younger kids have someone to look up to. This is for them. This is their backcountry experience. We take them out. They will leave camp. They'll only come back into camp maybe once, if at all, before the closing campfire. And they'll do a variety of leadership and high adventure activities. They will go backpacking. They will go cycling. They will go rock climbing. And they may have the opportunity to go on the coat course. And then the last of the Sierra Expeditions program, the horse and packing program. This is a 7-day program. This is the full week-long deal. This isn't an individual merit badge program, but they do receive the merit badge at the end of the program. This is through Golden Trout Wilderness Pack Fitters, and they take you out. We provide all of the horses, all of the food, and it's all packed on a horse, so they can go as heavy as they want, which includes egg, meat. They have great gourmet cooking.
What's the cost on that this year, do you know?
The cost on that this year is $550.
$550?
That's correct.
Yeah, all of these are extra fees, right?
CPT is the same fee as camp.
What does
But-
CPT stand for?
They'll learn that after the.
Top secret.
Oh.
It's part of the trip is they get to learn what that is.
So, CPT, if someone's already registered to go to camp and they want to do this, just call up Lindsay or email Lindsay at camping@bsa-la.org, and she can just transfer the registration over. That's not an issue at all.
But so if they're in CPT, sorry, will they be with us at all, or they just show
They will
up the
not be
first
with you
day,
at
they
all.
go away, and they come back right when we're ready? You take them somewhere, okay?
As far as the horse program, that's $550, that's everything. We don't have to pay for, they don't have to pay for camp and the $550, right?
Correct. That is the standard.
And that's open to use and adult. So if I've got me, another adult,
That's
and
correct.
4 kids, 5 kids,
Absolutely.
so where do I get the info on that so we can get that squared away for our group?
We can talk right after this.
Got it. All right.
Is the rafting program in this Sierra Expeditions?
There is no rafting in Sierra Expeditions specifically. We have rafting at Whitsett that we contract out through Sierra South, and
Okay,
then we'll talk about that in just a minute.
okay.
The treks and cycling, how much are those?
So for,
And that's again, if a couple boys in the unit want to do it that week that we're all at camp, or is that?
that's just CPT. For the cycling and backpacking treks, that would be funding an additional unit essentially. So we would need about 8 people to do that.
Okay.
Including at least an adult.
And yes,
Can the boys bring their own bikes to camp? Do you encourage that, discourage that?
they can bring their bikes to camp for use on our bike rides, but they cannot ride them through our camp. We're not set up to have a bunch of bikes in camp and riding around.
Okay.
So just for reference, Intro to Backcountry Living, that's where if you guys have never gone backpacking before and you want to sign up a bunch of guys who are about 13, 14, 15 years old and have never really gotten any experience, you want to have them learn from our experts how to work a stove, how to cook in the backcountry, and leave no trace principles. That one there is $360 per person. If you're a WICC in-council unit, if you're an out-of-council unit, it's $385. Forks of the Kern to Jerky, which is a good intermediate level back.
Where are
You
you?
said, yeah, we're lost.
I'm
It's
just-
not in there
I'm
at
just-
all.
You were asking pricing, and so I was
Okay.
really good.
You can also find it on the website at the Sierra Expedition section of campwhitsett.org. So
Oh,
he's just
Yeah.
answering another question because people were asking it.
So that's kind of the baseline of the pricing. We do a Black Rock to Whitney. It's a little late in the year to do that, to start planning that one, but that's $425 per person. So if you guys wanted to do that next year, go ahead and get in contact with us. Moving on to merit badge sign up. Merit badge registration, page 24. It will go live on the website April 22nd. We'll send out information in advance of that for you guys to know where to log in and how to sign up. It'll be a PDF PowerPoint presentation that you can just flip through to see all of the steps. It's the exact same way we did it last year, except it's using the original registration that you used to log in. Instead of blue cards, we use blue sheets. If you're not familiar with that, feel free to talk to Josh or I after. Just be rest assured that your councils already know that we do these, and so they will accept them as if they were blue cards.
Question,
Yes.
if I had boys who earned partials last year,
Mhm.
do I have to bring the partial pieces up, or do you have record of it?
Are they partials at our camp?
Yes,
We do have record of it.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You know, as far as training goes, I ran a bunch of adults through last year for the IOLS and the Assistant Scoutmaster training. That didn't wind up on our unit records. How do I wind up getting that information back?
For this last year,
Mm-hmm.
email me and then we will find those records and get that to you.
All right.
Yeah, we got cards and things, so.
I'll send you.
Mhm.
We'll follow up with that. Program changes for the new year on page 25.
24.
24 just kind of basically
Oh,
goes.
you're right.
24 goes through the basics of it. 25, things we're changing for this year. Mammal study and nature merit badge, we're going to offer that as a combined class instead of 2 standalone classes. We will make that 1 week-long class so you can get both merit badges at the end of it.
Is that going to be the same duration as other classes, or is that going to be a 2-hour class?
I think
It's the same duration as
Same.
any other class. So
So 2 for 1?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
We found that enough of the requirements were close enough that an extra 5 minutes talking about something will solve both requirements. So, new merit badges that we're introducing for this year: American Heritage, which we don't have all of the details on. We will email out this following week, scheduling and what the prerequisites are. Bird Study, we'll offer that through the Nature Lodge. And then Search and Rescue we'll offer through our High Adventure program, or our High Adventure area.
Search and rescues have prerequisites?
It does. We'll get to the prerequisites next. There are many merit badges that require prerequisites. They're written down in a coming page, but we just wanted to talk to you guys about them just for a minute. This year we're asking that in addition to the prerequisite form, that you bring some form of proof, and we'll talk about that, what that proof is, that the scout completed that requirement. If you had to make something, we ask that you took a photo of that, of making it. Some form of that, just so that we can kind of have that information for you, and then we'll actually talk to the scout and say, okay, so when you made it, how did it work? What did you notice? Or if you, for citizenship in whatever citizenship, there's a requirement for it. If you were supposed to go to a meeting, we're going to ask that you bring either the minutes or your notes from that meeting, and then just talk about the meeting. How did you feel when you saw this happen? Just talk about it and discuss it briefly with our counselor.
So, just
Yes.
curious, did something happen that this additional requirement is being added?
Not that I know of. However, we've kind of run into a point where we wanted to look over our programs and see what we were offering. And I know people have said in the past, one way or another, that we're either we're asking too much or not asking enough, and this is kind of where we landed.
Makes it easier for us, because now I don't have to do all the, because quite frankly, we'll go over the forms, but now that you're gonna double check the prereqs.
I like
Yeah,
They're not all coming to my house the last week before camp going,
yeah. So we'll have a form for you to fill out, and we'll talk about it in a second. The other thing we're doing, which is actually kind of, we might have wanted to talk about this first, but we're doing a prerequisite workshop. It's going to be online based. We're going to put together a bunch of videos about what you need to do. For instance, weather merit badge.
Nice.
I believe there's a requirement where you have to build an instrument that measures some aspect of the weather. And we'll talk about how to build that. We'll even show video of building it and what to expect. And then if you, and what you need to bring to us to prove that you did it, whether it's the instrument, whether it's a photo of the instrument. All of those will go online and be available April 22nd, and for each of the prerequisites.
Nice.
Yeah. Great.
The merit badge difficulty chart. This is always kind of the stickiest situation as an adult leader. You have to tell your scouts or your scouts' parents, yeah, Johnny really shouldn't take this merit badge, or I think this would be really good for Johnny. This is something that we put together to kind of help you decide what a scout should be taking and what they're capable of taking. This is honestly just a guide. Maybe a scout's really a rock star, maybe he's not. The one that we're actually very strict about being over the age of 14 for is welding merit badge. We ask that everyone be over 14 for that.
so you could help us on one thing, if you would do one thing. I know you're putting down the recommendations of kind of the ages.
Yeah.
If you could put down for the parents that think their son that's a tenderfoot scout should take citizenship in the nation, citizenship in the world,
Archery.
communications, and first aid,
Yeah.
all in 1 year. You know, just, if you could add a line that just simply says, it's appropriate, these are important Eagle Scout merit badges. And we have kids coming up, that quite frankly, I have concerns with a tenderfoot
Yeah.
coming back with a first aid merit badge, because I'm the guy who's gonna have to practice it on someday. So if you could just simply address that line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just don't let them sign up for stuff. I don't think they're ready. I'm in control of the computer.
We will do what we can to try and make your lives easier.
So
Yes.
search and rescue would be a level 4?
That one's probably level 2 or 3. We're double checking, and that'll be on the new sheet, the new information that goes out.
We just did it with our troop. We had most of the older boys. We didn't have our brand new scouts do it.
Yeah.
We gave them something else to do.
American Heritage isn't on here, and it probably will be on here. And then Whitewater isn't on here, and we'll address that as well in an update, yes.
So are there specific hard age requirements for the range sports?
Archery is very hard.
No, what I
Right.
mean is a hard requirement.
An exact,
In other words,
yeah.
if a 12-year-old kid and parents, oh, we really want Johnny to do shotgun.
Right.
Is the answer no, he can't because he's not 13, he's only 12, or are?
I don't believe so. I don't believe.
No, there's no hard age. It's just that case, a 12-year-old holding a shotgun. If he has experience, that's fine. But if he doesn't, we really shy not to. Just because.
They'll typically on the shotgun range, because my son was one of those. He's a little guy like me, but
Yeah.
he shoots a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
They'll give him.
They basically
they'll
handed
give
him a
practice
shot,
yeah.
handed him a shotgun, had 5 rounds and 5 plays, and when he smoked 5, he was okay to go. On the other hand, you know, if they don't know which way to put the shells in.
Right.
Absolutely.
Is archery, like last year, was the difficult one that hardly anybody was able to do? Is that the same?
They're the same
bit?
requirements again this year.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So it's if you notice from last year, it's been moved down to number 4.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I was
hard.
gonna say.
And are you guys adding archery with compound bows yet? Or are we sticking with recurve?
Recurve right now. The issue with compound is we've thought about it. The points are different in compounds, so they'd have to remember that they've started with a compound, and if they halfway through the weeks decide to go to a recurve, they basically start brand new. And I think the last time we tried it, the scouts didn't understand it and didn't like it, and it caused more problems than really what it was worth. So.
Okay, so page 27, but not labeled, is the merit badge activity scheduling worksheet. Your youth packet will have one of these, so each boy will get one. That's the way we recommend that you do it. You'll have them do a preliminary run through and figure out what they want to do. And then they might need some counseling afterwards based on the difficulty charts or individual experience. There are a few changes in here that we'll go over real quickly. Adult leader, excuse me, welding merit badge is not offered between 3 and
Can you
5.
wait, where is it?
Where is it?
It's up in camp.
Handicraft.
No, camp.
Welding.
Under camp.
Okay, got
Second
it.
under camp.
All right, what?
Welding merit badge is not offered between 3 and 5. It's kind of, there's text in there,
Okay.
makes it a little rough. So it is only offered during 10 and 12. And youth and adult cope, there's a line breaking up the 2 sessions. It is actually one single session.
Quick
Yeah.
question.
Where is it?
What,
And that's under high adventure.
I'm sorry, is the dark mean it's offered or the light mean it's offered?
Light means it's offered.
Oh, youth cope.
So what do you,
okay.
so what do you mean by the, I don't understand the cope, so you're the youth and the adults are doing it both at the same time and then there's 2 offerings?
It looks like it's 2 different sessions in the morning and 2 different sessions in the afternoon. The way it is adult cope is offered between 2 and 4.
Oh, it's a 2-hour class,
Yes.
okay.
Oh, so that line shouldn't be there.
Okay,
Yes.
got it,
Yeah.
the vertical line,
Yes.
okay.
And the youth cope is offered between 10 and noon.
Okay, question?
Yes.
What's COPE stand for?
COPE stands for Challenging Outdoor Personal Experience.
And it's,
It is a week-long program.
oh yeah, it's fun.
The end result is that they get to go up on our high ropes course and go down our zip line.
The zip line's fun, the rest is not.
The difference between that and the CPT?
Go just for the zip line.
Yes. COPE is in camp, so they'll be able to take merit badges in the afternoon. And COPE is a bunch of, trying to figure out how to best describe
Team
this.
building activity.
Team building
Yeah,
activities.
team building activities. The group size is much larger than CPT. CPT is less than 12 people.
So if I have an older boy who still needs some merit badges, let's do cope. If I have
Yeah.
an older boy who's just coming to camp,
Right.
because his parents want him out of the house, send him on CPT.
Send them on CPT. That's
Okay.
kind of a good way to split it up. So COPE was a great thing for me because I was able to take the COPE course class, and then I was still able to work with one of the scouts in my unit who didn't really like to show up to class. Not just merit badge class, but actual class, and kind of skipping school kind of kid. So I was able to stick around camp and work and do 2 merit badge sessions with him and work with him. And then I was still able to do something fun, the COPE program. COPE's also offered for adults. So you get to do the same kind of experience and get to do those same games. and get a feeling for what the youth are going through in their program.
Are you guys anticipating the welding being as impacted as it was last year?
Excuse me, the
Welding?
Welding?
Did
Just
you
a lot of
expand
people
any the
taking it?
capabilities?
We've added another welder, so we're trying to expand, but it's really,
Boy, the kids love that one.
we're trying to keep it as safe as possible. So we're working on expanding it, but I don't know that we can expand it this year. We're trying.
And that one we will be very strict on. You're not 14, sorry.
It was surprising. I was completely astounded by the number of kids that wanted to weld.
Yeah.
Last year it was brand new, so.
So it is noted on here somewhere.
That you gotta be 14, no nylon shoes, no burnable pants.
Correct.
Yep.
And then there's also an extra cost of $15.
That's
So
to help pay for the materials used in welding.
the other thing I wanted to talk about briefly, fishing merit badge, it doesn't say on here, but they need to provide their own tackle. They can rent holes with the deposit, but they will need to provide their own tackle. We sell stuff in the trading post.
For both fishing and fly fishing, or just fishing?
I believe we have fly fishing covered. I will follow up on that and let you guys
You
know.
did last year.
Yeah.
Okay.
So fishing is
And then-
offered on 2 times?
Correct. And if they're 16 years of age or older, they need a fishing license.
Is there always water in the lake?
During the summer, there is always water in the lake, yes.
Now,
Yes.
you have sign up for fishing licenses up there, or?
We do
you need
not.
to get a prior
They will need to purchase a fishing license prior
to
to
going up there. Okay.
They're available in Kernville, but I
Yeah.
honestly would say go to a Big Five or fishing store and get it
Yeah.
now.
Someplace local before they leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the geocaching, does that use GPS? Or do
Yes.
they need to bring something for
They do
that?
not need to bring one. If they have one and would like to bring it and work with it, then fine, but I mean,
There's a
We
lot of
do-
prerequisites for that one now.
yes, there are some
Well, there's one.
requirements.
For
I
like a
think
month.
that's,
But tracking a GPS.
Requirement 8 is it does one of the 4 following. It does require time. One of them takes up to a month to do.
Okay.
So it just kind of it's one of those ones, and we'll have in the workshop what the requirements are, what needs to be done for each, and how to do them.
It's easier to just do the trackable for 30 days than do the setting of your geocaching tracking for 6 months.
Yep. Yep. So
moving down under Scoutcraft citizenship in the world, there should not be a vertical line. It is offered between 10 and noon. And then the exact same story with fishing, or sorry, first aid merit badge, the one right below it.
So trail first class?
Yes.
You're recommending only one session a day for those kids then?
Correct.
Okay.
The morning and the afternoon sessions are exactly the same as each other, making it available for a scout to do something in the afternoon if he has something that's only offered in the afternoon, or in the morning if it's only offered in the morning. And,
For kids who are doing, say, the trail
yeah,
in the morning, is there sort of, a maximum amount of other things that they should be doing? Not more than 2 merit badges, not more than 3? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
depends on the merit badge nation and trail of first class the same year. That's kind of an obvious one, but my recommendation is that you keep it fun. Handicraft, there are a few things in handicraft that you can add in if you really want to see them get a couple of extra merit badges and work on them in the free time. I would say 4 is a good number for merit badges, but my first year as a scout, I did 5 merit badges. The second year I did 6, and then the third year at scout camp I did 1 climbing merit badge, and then I did cover. So it varies. My point that I want to impress on everyone is that we make sure it's fun. Scout camp is for doing fun merit badges. If they can get into a merit badge that they can't do at home, that's key to me. But I would really say six is probably the high end for merit badges that they can do. But if they're doing 2 or 3 handicraft merit badges and they've got a couple of others, it really depends on the merit badge setup.
Last year with our scouts, when they did the first class, most of them did 3.
Yeah.
And it seemed the first years were, that first day they were lost, a lot of them. They couldn't figure out where everything was. My own son couldn't find where half the stuff was, which was rather amusing. But 3 and 4 seemed to be the good number.
My first year at camp as a scout, I think I was 14 or 15, so I wasn't a 12-year-old scout, and I don't remember that year at all. I don't remember anything about that week other than sitting through environmental science merit badge. That's all I remember. Sure, I did other things. I came back with a lot more merit badges than just that, but it's all a blank to me, and I wish I could remember all the fun things I did there.
Have they changed the environmental science merit badge yet? I heard they were going to.
No.
No, not yet.
So this is still the old one. Okay.
28, merit badge prerequisite form. American Heritage, it says requirement and then doesn't say anything after that because we haven't nailed that one down yet, but we will get that out this week. We ask that you fill one of these forms out per merit badge. So if someone's taking American Heritage and camping, they'd have 2 forms. That's just because when they fill out that form, that's that merit badge instructor's proof for that scout. And then with the form, they need to attach the relevant proof for the merit badge. And so, again, if someone has filled this out and signed for it and it's 20 nights of camping, fine, we're not going to really have to check up on that. But if they did do one of the citizenship ones and they had to go to a meeting, we are going to ask them questions. How did the meeting go? What do you remember about the meeting? Those kinds of things. Yes?
So any merit badge that doesn't have listed as prerequisites, so we assume that they will complete the full merit badge at camp.
That's correct, with one exception that I can think of, and that's the fishing merit badges. They'll actually have to be pretty lucky with the fish to catch 3 different types of fish.
True.
I'm not 100% on the fly fishing, but I know there are a couple of things where they'll be a little difficult, but that's really the only one that I can think of off the top of my head is fishing.
As long as they attend class and do all the requirements, then they should be able to get the merit badges.
Cool.
If your scout's going to be the one that skips class every day and doesn't complete it, then he won't go home with it. But
didn't earn it then.
but like we said, as long as they do the work and they really put the effort in, then they should go home with that.
We do build in enough time
Right.
that we can have, if someone has to miss a class for whitewater or for a troop outing, we build in enough time and we are flexible in the free time to get them through those merit badges.
Okay.
So that won't be an issue. Sometimes that's a question.
And they're still pushing catch and release for the trout for that matter, right?
Correct.
That's the one exemption from the fishing merit badge.
Correct. Catch and release, unless they want to eat it, and they're actually, if it's going to be used, then that's fine, and then that's the requirement for fishing is that they do catch and prepare it. So that is acceptable. We just don't want a bunch of guys kind of ruining the lake with trout. And then there are local regulations for the waterways. I believe it's non-live bait, and then it's artificial bait and barbless hooks, I believe, are what we fall under. But we'll make sure that information is communicated. I haven't looked at the regulations in a while. And then page 29, how to get a hold of us. I want to make sure that everyone knows, don't call Camp Whitsett phone number tomorrow. That's just our camp ranger and he's working. We man that during the summertime. So as soon as camp starts working, if whoever your direct contact at home needs to get a hold of us, that's the number they will use, that 760 number. If you need to reach us before June 8th, you're going to call for registration, the camping registrar. That's the 933-0130 number, or her email address. If it's a program question, call me, Trevor Fulham, or if it's just a general camp question, call the camp director, Josh Bryan, and his information's on here. If you have a parent who wants to send a care package, which is completely fine by us, the information on how to fill that out is right there on that page. Please give it a little lead time. Send it the Wednesday before camp. And if you want to put on it, hold until day 3, that's fine, or hold until Wednesday. Just make sure you fill it out where it says Scout Week